Today is the end of the line. End of the line. In Numbers 14, I want you to pay attention to me because this is big. Numbers 14, 18 through 21. We're going to use that as a text. That's one of the preacher words. I don't even know what it means. The Lord is long-suffering and abundant in mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression. But he by no means clears the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation. Now that sounds like God's mean, right? Well, he's talking to Moses, and it's like, why is, like God told Moses, here's exactly what's going to happen in Egypt. Here's what Pharaoh's going to do. You're going to march up to the Red Sea. You're going to open it. You're going to take your boat to the promised land. He told him step by step everything was going to happen. Why did he tell Moses that? So he gets Moses to sign off on it? No, because he needed a guy down here that could be his contact with flesh and blood down here on the earth. And so I want to just approach this for a second. I want you to look at the first part of this verse and not the last part. The first part is when he was telling his people, I am long-suffering. Yes. I am abundant in mercy and forgiving iniquity and transgression. And the people that have hurt you, I'm going to make sure they're going to pay. Okay? And so, but here's what's funny, the next page. The next words out of Moses' mouth. Now listen to me. He said, pardon the iniquity of this people. I pray according to the greatness of your mercy, just as you have forgiven us. Wow, what a statement. In other words, Moses is saying, I want you to forgive the people that are trying to kill us as much as you've forgiven us. And watch this. God said, I have pardoned according to your word. So let's back it up. Why did God tell Moses that I'm going to visit this on their third and fourth generation of their children? Because he's wanting Moses to stand up and say, no, you're not. I'm going to stand in the gap even for my enemies. Because Pastor Judy said something 20 years ago that I've never forgotten. She said one day somebody really hurt her and she was thinking about him and just thinking about, how maybe they deserve hell. And the Holy Spirit spoke to her and said, nobody goes to hell for an afternoon. It's forever. And when you think about it like that, I don't care how bad they've hurt you, how much you hate them. Do you want to see how much they've hurt you, how much you hate them? Do you want to see them burning for an eternity? Well, no. Okay? We'll put some gloves on in heaven and settle it. But whatever, we're not going to go to hell. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that all through the Bible, God will tell Abraham, said, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? Did he tell him that? Did he need Abraham to sign off on that? No. He told Abraham because Abraham was this guy on the earth that was standing there. And he said, and Abraham said, well, what if there are 50 righteous? And he went on down to 10. And I'm convinced that if Abraham had said, well, listen, God, I can't find anybody but me, but would you spare them just for me? I believe God would have spared Sodom and Gomorrah because he has no desire to punish, has no desire to bring us into account for our iniquity. That's why he said that hell was made for Satan and his angels. Hell wasn't made for man. He never intended for us to go there. So he's trying to say, because of my person. Do you understand? Why does God not intervene? Because his holiness, his very presence would dissolve us like a nuclear blast. If our sin hasn't been made atonement for, then we come in contact with that presence and we're just dissolved into nothing. That's right. So he put his son here and he gave us a way to obtain righteousness even though we're still wearing this body. Why are we still here? Because you ain't finished your job yet. I got news for you. When you're done, you'll be out of here. So that's all I'll tell you. It's kind of like you ain't seen the top, you're not over the hill. Next page. Ezekiel 22:30, he said, so I sought for a man among them who would make a wall to stand in the gap before me on behalf of the land that I should not destroy it. For I found no one. Why would he destroy it? Because his presence would destroy them. It's not like he has any desire to destroy them, but because of the fall of Adam, because of the sin that was birthed in him at that moment, he passed it on to every human being. I don't care if you've been good your whole life. I don't care if you're a good person now. If you're not washed in the blood, you're not going to get there. Because you were born in sin. Now, I know everybody knows this stuff. I won't talk to you this morning. Next page. Point number 1. God is telling us what he wants. He's also telling us what he must do unless someone intercedes. Who's going to answer the call? Yeah, you know what? We all deserve judgment. We all deserve death. But you know what? Jesus ever lives to intercede for us, even at this moment. He's sitting at the right hand of the Father, talking to the Father about you this morning.
That's right.
saying, listen, he's having a tough day. Father, you've never been hungry. Father, you've never been below. You've never been betrayed. You've never been lied to. You've never been hurt. But I have. So I'm going to stand in the gap, and I'm making a wall, and I'm interceding for all those down there. And if you're going to judge them, you got to judge me, and I've already paid for that with the blood, my very blood that I've shed. So you know what? All you got to do is look at my blood and see their righteousness. Somebody help me this morning. Next page. Point number 2. This is what I want to get to today. It could be possible for you to be affected by the sins of your great-great-great-grandfather and not know it. I want to approach this. I don't want to go hunting for demons and couches. Okay. Let me tell you a story. You know, we're brand new, just right off the press, and down at the fire escape, we'd have Christian concerts, and we started having Bible study, and we just so following. And we got into understanding about the fact that demons exist and that they're the cause of every problem in the earth. Did you know that? Yes, sir. So one night, some folks got a bad buzz about a couch that had been donated. So we was trying to cast the devil out of the couch. That's all right. I give my A for effort, but it was just like we really didn't know what we're doing. But, so here's the thing I want you to understand, that there's things that the devil will take a hold of. Please listen to me. That you may not be aware of. And here's the thing. What I want to do at the end of this service is we're going to take captive all those things. We're going to expel all those things. We're going to make no more room in our life for these things to torment us. Even if none of them are there, it don't hurt to do it. Right. That's right. Can't hurt anything, right? All right, next page. When they say, and so this is the phrase I saw that got me started. So when they say it runs in your family, you tell them this is where it runs out. Woo! Ain't running in here no more. This is the end of the line. Somebody touching everything, it's the end of the line. I don't care what he's done and rush out through my family. It ain't going no further from right here on. How many of you about ready to get rid of that dang thing, right? All right, here we go. Next page. In John 20:23. Now I want you to listen to me. Jesus is telling his disciples who are not yet in the new covenant. They're still ministering under the law. John the Baptist was the last prophet of the old covenant. Jesus stepped up and received a future anointing. Do you understand? That when he was still under the old covenant until he went to the cross. When he died for the sin of mankind, the new covenant was, the minute he ascended and put his blood on the altar, the new covenant started. And then 10 days later, we had the day of Pentecost. Everybody says the church started at Pentecost. It didn't start. It started the day he put his blood on the altar. That morning, he told some folks, marrying them, said, don't touch me. I'm not yet ascended. Later that same night, he said, put your hands in my nail prints inside. So something happened between morning and evening. He ascended and put his blood on the altar. That's when the new covenant started. But he tells these guys, if you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven them. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained. Do you understand how important this is? If you're a grudge holder, this is your last day. You're cashing in today. Because when you hold a grudge, you are forbidding God to be able to save them and forgive them. Did you see what that said? He said, if you forgive them, I'll forgive them. But if you don't, I can't. Now, I don't want to stand before the Lord and watch and me have to push somebody into hell because I just couldn't get over my little self. Everybody with me this morning? So this is not a dog and pony show. This is real life. Next page. Proverbs 18:21. You know this so much you don't listen to it anymore. But death and life are in the power of the tongue. There's just as much death as there is life. And you get to choose how you use it. The words you speak, the things you say, they are the rudder of your ship. And you're not so old and so far into God that it doesn't matter anymore. It's the same rule whether you're 5 minutes old or 50 years in this thing. When you speak, you're creating things.
Okay. All right.
If you keep listening to the devil and saying what he says, man, you're just a factory pumping out the devil, pumping out discouragement and fear and doubt. But if you'll shut that hole under your nose until you can say something that God has said, then we're going to turn this thing around.
That's good.
Next page. I'm almost done. I'm going to let you in early because we went over last week. Matthew 10:8. It says, pray over people asking me to heal them. Pray over the lepers asking me to cleanse them. Pray over the dead asking me to raise them. Pray over the demon possessed asking me to deliver them. It doesn't say that.
Right.
It doesn't say that. Next page. This is what it says. You heal the sick. Yeah. You cleanse the leper. You raise the dead. You cast out demons. It's not on him. It's on us. And these guys were not yet in the family of God in the new covenant. They were not yet filled with the Holy Spirit. He gave them his authority. He gave them his anointing. They borrowed it from him. And they went forth doing this. And they came back skipping. In Luke, they came skipping back saying, God, this is awesome. Jesus, even demons are subject to us in your name. But you know they had a party. If you ever get over some of this, man. Mm-hmm. I don't mind casting devils out of couches. Right. You know, I'd rather you cast the devil out of a couch than to pretend they don't exist.
I know that's right.
Next page. Philippians 2:12. Let me get back one. I told Keith this morning, Pastor Keith, I'm going to get my shoulders fixed. I'm going to try for the Mets.
Yes.
Now, I used to could hurl baseball. I mean, I could dot an I with it, man. And even more on softball. That was my favorite thing when people try to steal on me. I just... So I'm getting shot and go, Steve and say, hey, I want to walk on and come out here. I bet they pay tickets to see a 60-year-old guy pitching with him. Philippians 2:12. I like to do some chin music on some of them guys. That guy from Washington, what was it, Bryce Harper? I love to dot him. Anyway, therefore, sorry, Bryce. Not actually hit you. Just make you walk back to the dugout in shame. Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. What does he tell me? To work out your own salvation. I want to say this to you. If you're waiting for God to do something, he's already done probably everything you would ask him for. He's wanting you to work it out. He's wanting you to, how do you work it out? By doing it. By faithing it out, by obeying him, by living by faith and not by your circumstances. You call things to be not as though they were. You walk ahead of the pack and you don't follow what everybody else is telling you to do. Okay. You're led by his voice and his spirit.
Okay, that's good.
And you work it out. So many times people come to me and they want me to pray for them. I'm like, you know what? Have you prayed?
All right.
Have you done any study? Have you done anything to dig this out on your own? No, they just want you to do it. Because we got this poverty, welfare mentality in the church that I'm just old sinner saved by grace, and the professionals up there, they got all the answers. Man, I got the same Bible you do. I got the same Father you do. What are you waiting on?
Come on.
One guy came to me one time and said, well, I know you don't understand where I'm coming from. You probably don't have to deal with this. I'm thinking, what planet do you think I live on, you moron? I have the same mess you got, probably double what you got, and you don't even know what's going on in my life. That's right, tell them. Everybody say, work it out. Next page. Hebrews 4:2, listen carefully. For indeed the gospel was preached to us as well as to them, but the word which they heard did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in those who heard it. You can hear this all day long, but if you don't apply it, if you don't adopt it, if you don't own it, and do what he says. See, everybody knows what he says, but how many are doing what he said? That's when it'll profit you. He's talking about the children of Israel, but they'd heard the word and it didn't profit them because they never really made it to the place where God had promised them, because they couldn't get out of Egypt. They couldn't get Egypt out of them. I'm just saying, we're going to do this today, so you better get ready. And I don't know of anybody in here that doesn't need to do it. I can't see a soul and I'm thinking, oh, you're okay. How many of you know the life of your great-great-great-grandfather? Do you know? I don't know anything about him. I didn't pay the money to climb up my family tree. My family tree doesn't have enough limbs, I think. But anyway, okay. Next page. Point number 3. It's time to put your big girl pants on and take charge of your life. It's time to end the oppression from your past and decree what he says about your future. It's time for everybody in this room to do just what I said. You're not exempt. It's time for you to stand up, plant your feet, and say, thus saith the Lord. This is where I'm going. Even, I had one friend of mine, he was telling me that he was trying to quit smoking cigarettes. And he said every time he put one in his mouth, he would decree, I am delivered from smoking cigarettes. Now, this was his battle, and I'm not pronouncing any one thing. I was a tobacco addict in my lifetime, and it was the hardest thing to break. But I'm just trying to tell you that he, even while he was smoking his cigarette, he was declaring that he was delivered. And I'm telling you, one time he went to take it in his mouth and he threw it down. It wasn't because he had to go cold turkey. It wasn't because he had to try really hard. He kept decreeing this thing, and it became to manifest in him, and then he didn't want it anymore. That's what you want.
Right.
All right? Remember? Okay, next page. Okay. Stand on your covenant with Jesus. You heal the sick. You cleanse the leper. You raise the dead. You call on the Holy Spirit to manifest the nature and character of Jesus. You forgive. You show mercy. You declare today that there are no generational curses following you around, but this is the end of the line. I feel like there are people in this room, your life is about to begin. I believe there's been areas in our lives where it's just been the biggest battle for self-control or whatever it is, that when you suddenly break the chain of power. See, it's like if I stood up here with Pastor Clint and we got in a shoving match, he'd probably take me, okay? But if I had 15 guys behind me pushing, he doesn't stand a chance. And if you got all this stuff in your past, and I'm talking about generational things that have gone back 100 years, some of them, and they're pushing, it's really hard to resist. So we're just going to break the chain, and now you can battle on your own. Are you hearing me this morning?
Yeah, come on,
Next
Pastor.
page. Okay. We'll dim the lights, put me on some good music. We got two things we're going to do, and we'll send you home.